When morning arrived, both Douglas and Natasha were up and making noise. Alison first tended to Douglas. He was taken from his crib to the changing table. As Alison did this, she noticed that the crib sheet and Douglas' sleeper were soaked with a brown, smelly, poop and pee mixture. "Well, baby Dan, you need a bath." She then guided him into the bathroom and removed his sleeper and diaper and set him in a warm bubble bath and washed him up. Afterwards he was diapered and dressed, this morning in just a diapers and t-shirt. He was then led to the living room and placed in his playpen. Dan, play nice while mommy checks on baby Tasha." "Okay." Douglas nodded. Alison found Natasha having great deal of trouble trying to pick up some of her toys. "See how hard it is to play when you're a bad baby," Alison said as she entered the room. "Now I can smell how badly my little girl needs changing, so follow me." Alison untied Natasha and led her to the bathroom. There, like Douglas, she was undressed and placed in a nice warm bubble bath. When Alison took her from the tub, she noticed that her rear was still bright red and very irritated. She gently ran her hand over her bottom, as baby Tasha winced with pain. "Does baby Tasha have a bad case of DD rash?" "It's okay, mommy will fix it." Alison pulled Natasha across her lap and applied a nice layer of Desitin over her inflamed bottom. Natasha was then laid on the floor and diapered. Unlike Douglas, she was placed back into a restrictive sleeper. "Come on baby, time for breakfast." Alison led baby Tasha into the kitchen, stopping in the living room to get baby Dan. Natasha was first given a bottle of formula while Douglas was spoon-fed his cereal and applesauce. After that he was wiped off and places in the playpen with his first morning bottle. "Now baby Tasha, eat like good little girl and you two can go watch TV with Douglas." Natasha was fed the same as Douglas, then she was walked into the living room where she settled down to watch TV. Alison cleaned up the kitchen. Both Natasha and Douglas were playing with toy on the living room floor when they suddenly saw a camera flash. Both babies looked up to see Alison taking pictures of her two babies. "It's okay, babies." Alison reassured them, "Mommy's just taking some pictures of her babies for her scrapbook." The two resumed playing as Alison continued to snap pictured. Soon the entire 36 exposure roll of film was gone. The rest of the day followed fairly uneventful. That night when the babies were put to bed, Natasha's hand was finally removed from the mittens. The next morning Alison again had the babies up early. "Good morning babies, guess what? We're going to the mall, and then out to lunch." Douglas was the first one dressed in a pair of bib overalls and a nursery print t-shirt. Natasha was dressed in a blue and white baby dress, the back of the dress barely covered the ruffles of her romper panties. A pair of lace and ribbon-topped sock and pattern leather Mary Janes completed her ensemble. Alison was dressed in her normal corporate casuals. She quickly loaded the Jeep and packed the diaper bags and they were off. Their first stop was at an exclusive baby boutique. These she picked up a custom crib, she also picked up several more bottles, another diaper pail, and finally a changing table. The next shop they visited was a clothes store. Her babies were measured and clothes would be made especially for her little babies. As they left the last store, Alison said, "Since you two have been such good babies, we can go to the toy store and get you a present." The three quickly moved to the toy store and picked out a special toy. Douglas got a huge teddy bear, Natasha got a hobby horse. The toy and purchases were loaded into the back of the Jeep. The next stop was McDonald's. There the babies got their own Happy Meals. They also had a chance to play with their toys before going home. Once they got home they had their diapers changed and took their afternoon naps.